In this video, I interview serial entrepreneur and best-selling author Peter Voogd, and he talks about how to build a polarizing personal brand that rises above the noise, his social media tips, and how to design a business and a lifestyle on your own terms. Coming up. Hey, what's up? Sean here with Video Influencers, helping you build your influence, income, and impact with online video. And I'm super pumped to be bringing you another interview with Peter Voogd. How's it going?
Amazing, man. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, super pumped to have you on the show. Now, Peter is a serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, leading authority to millennials, pumping out a lot of great content and doing some really cool things on social media with video. But before we dive into that, Peter, for those that are just meeting you in our community, give a little bit of your background and context of what you're up to.
Well, so I grew up in a small town, and thanks for having me, by the way. This is amazing. Great environment. I'm excited to add value. I know you have an ambitious group. So started in Oregon. I became an entrepreneur when I was 15. I couldn't stand the hard labor. I couldn't stand the normal route. So started selling things on eBay when I was in high school, hired a team, and started obviously making money that way. 18 comes around, and everyone around me, I'm in a small town of like 7,000 or 8,000 people. So the common thing is to get a normal job. So I decided to get a normal job because everyone told me to. Couldn't stand it. That was the last job I ever had. And then I got into direct sales. So when I was 20 or 21, I got into direct sales, which finally gave me a platform, Sean, to kind of go crazy with my ambition. I was very energetic, and I didn't have a cap on my income. So I did well at direct sales, and then I got into management and leading a team. So it's one thing motivating yourself. I was good at motivating myself, but when it came to actually building a team, I thought that it was just as easy. It wasn't. So I built a great resume in sales for myself. When I started building a sales team, I couldn't get anyone to produce except me, and I was wondering why they couldn't, why weren't they motivated? So I went broke. I used all my money I moved up to the Seattle area, and I used all my money to build a sales team to try and build my brand, and it didn't work. I went dead broke. I was frustrated, discouraged. I just left my senior year of college to go build this brand and to become an entrepreneur. And everyone's telling me I shouldn't do that. Why are you doing that? You're gonna fail. So I felt like I let my family down, myself down. And from that moment, I just had this inner drive, I have to figure this out. I have to figure entrepreneurship out. I have to make the definite decision to be living on my own terms. So from that moment, I was able to get around the higher level people, study personal growth, find mentors. And from that moment to 6 months later, I made 6 figures and was able to duplicate that in 7 or 8 different industries. I was able to not just duplicate it myself, I started putting it into a framework. I wrote a book about it. I taught it to people, and now we've since had a lot of hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people actually create 6 figures in 6 months from that blueprint. But when I was in direct sales, I still was not impacting as many people as I wanted to. So that's when I kind of stopped doing that when I was 26, 27. So we did 8 or 9 million in direct sales by the time I was 26, 27, building a sales team. So it was amazing. I was making, I don't need to say exact numbers, but doing really well, but still my mission was growing. So I wasn't a full-fledged entrepreneur yet. So I fully quit that. And from that time to becoming an entrepreneur, I built a brand, and we were able to go to 7 figures within two years using video, using social media, using my influence, creating a brand that's polarizing and leveraging other people's platforms. So we could dive into that, but I really got all my hunger from struggling and going broke and being frustrated, feeling like I let my family down. I didn't think I had any options, and I didn't have any other options as far as getting normal jobs because I'm unemployable. Not in a good way, almost in a bad way where I can't work for somebody. Yeah. It's just I don't know why, just who I am. So I had to figure it out. So went from broke, I had a humble beginning and just continued to grow and continue to figure out myself and know who I was and who I needed on my team, who I wasn't. And every year I just tried to get better and better. So right now I feel like we're in a great place. Company's doing extremely well, have a great team, and now it's just I'm traveling the world speaking, getting paid $20,000 a speech, and built an academy with a couple thousand members, have some mixtapes out everything for me is about giving value and helping the millennials live life on their terms so they don't have to be in the rat race, so they can live a life where they're happy, they're fulfilled, they're living a legacy. That's my number one mission, just to help people and give back, just like yours. Yeah. So that's kind of obviously I skipped steps, but that's kind of the story.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that you've done, that I respect is the brand you've built, whether that's from your website to your photography, to your videos, to your content. And so let's talk a little bit. Everyone in the influencers community wants to build a strong brand. I want to go back. You talked about polarizing. That's a powerful principle. But let's talk a little bit about how do you build a powerful brand leveraging social media, and what are some of the things you're doing, especially this is video influencers. You're doing Instagram stories, you're using Google Hangouts, and so we could break that all down. But what are kind of the first steps of building a standout, powerful brand online?
I think there's a couple steps. First is, for me, and what I've really believe in, is you have to get some results first. You have to figure out what industry you're going to dominate, what topic you want to really master. I wanted to impact and inspire and help millennials, not because I'm like, that sounds cool to impact millennials. It's because when I was 21 through 28, through 27, I wanted to impact, because I was running a sales team. I broke a lot of records as a sales rep being a millennial. And then I was able to train millennials while I was still a millennial and break a lot of other records as a district manager and do almost 9 million. So I knew, unlike anybody else that I knew of, how to motivate and inspire people to the umpth degree. Like, I was taking kids that dropped out of school that had no business succeeding and making them 6 figures because they followed my roadmap. And I knew how to motivate them. I would get 70 or 80 young entrepreneurs, like at our office. We had an office space, 2,000 square foot, and they would come in the morning, Sean, and they would make calls to their leads at like 7 in the morning. Their parents could not get them to make their bed. And I'm getting these kids that some of them were lazy up at like 6:30 to come to the office to make calls to crush it. I gave them a purpose and a reason to chase their dreams. So I knew that very few people could actually motivate and inspire young people. So that's why I did that. So the first step is you have to get real results.
Yeah.
There's a lot of younger people that are like, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, I'm this. It's like, no, you can't do that if you have no results.
Yeah.
You have 20 grand. What do you mean you're a life coach?
Yeah.
I think someone that coaches you about life should probably have a great life.
Right.
So first is like getting real results. I think a lot of people try to do it without getting real results. I want to be an influencer, I want to write books, but you got to figure out what you're going to do that's polarizing, that actually you've done, that people can respect you. That's the first. Second is, like you said, have a polarizing point of view that sometimes might offend people. You have to know yourself at a high level when you're building a brand, and you have to figure out what's gonna make your brand different, where if someone's like, why should I choose your brand, or why should I follow you, why should I choose your product, your service, versus every other product or service that does what you do on the market? There's 1,000 video influencers. Why should I watch your stuff?
Yeah.
And you have to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's why. Most people can't differentiate. And the biggest differentiator is figuring who you are at the deepest core, because that's when you're going to inspire the most people, is when you're not like somebody else. A lot of people are following different people like Gary Vee and Grant and even me, and they're trying to be a certain person. Don't do that, because then you're not authentic. So for me, when I started to follow other people and take things from each person and not really know myself and took a lot of opinions, my brand wasn't growing. So right when I started figuring out who I was, what was my mission, what was I excited about, what was my polarizing point of view that might offend people, but it's gonna deepen your connection with your audience at a higher level. It's always better to be loved or hated than tolerated.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people wanna be tolerated because they wanna please everybody. And if you wanna please everybody, you'll never build a polarizing brand. Like, look at LeBron James, look at Richard Branson, look at Elon Musk, look at Donald Trump, like look at Kobe Bryant. It's like, they're the best ever. I love them. Dude, they're the worst person on the planet.
Yeah.
I want to kill them.
Love and hate, yeah.
That's just, no one's like a legend. They're like, oh yeah, he's all right. It's like a strong point of view.
Yeah.
That's how you have to be as a brand, is you have to be polarizing and figure out what pisses you off.
That's super strong. And we always talk about the quote from Sally Hogstead that is, different is better than better.
100%.
Right? And so there's a couple big, powerful takeaways there. I think, number one, you didn't just pick millennials.
No.
But a lot of people talk about motivation and entrepreneurship, but as soon as you added that millennial distinction, now you stand out more. You're not just motivation and entrepreneurship, a more smaller audience. So influencers, how can you narrow down your audience? But by tapping into your actual experience, so you have some real credibility. And then let's talk a little bit about what you're actually doing. So you're using Instagram. What are some of the platforms? How are you picking what platforms you're on? And what's some of the strategy behind what we see? And I want to encourage you guys, of course, we'll link all of Peter's stuff up in the description, but you can see Instagram stories, see your page. What's the thinking behind how you're building your brand, what platforms, and your strategies there?
Because you're asking good questions, I'll share stuff I never share. That's like kind of like a little ninja moves behind the scenes. But one, you have to do your due diligence, do your research. We've done so much surveying and research. Like our email list is over 100,000. We've interviewed them multiple times, like surveying exactly what they want, what they need, where they're at, what they're looking at, what they don't like, what they like what drives them, how long the content should be, what content out there do they hate, why. So we've done that for years. So I think we have an edge because we're researching, and here's the biggest thing I think that why entrepreneurs fail when they're building, whether it's videos, whether a brand, whether it's social media, whether it's content, is the likelihood of the marketplace responding because you want something or because you think they like something is zero. And they're like, I think they might like this content. I think, no. That's a quick way to get no influence. Instead, figure out what the customers want or what your target audience wants, what they're thinking, get inside their head, think about what they're laying in bed at night thinking about, what do they need help with, what inspires them, what is their trends, and actually delivering on that. And people always talk about like their expertise. No one really cares unless you understand them and you can help them. So a lot of people try to put out their expertise, one. They try to put out content that people think they want, but they don't ever do any research. So for us, we do a lot of research. We know a lot of our audience is on Instagram, and we know a lot of our audience is on Facebook. It was on Snapchat. Snapchat obviously is not doing as well, but we still get on Snapchat. So we test a lot with different platforms. The biggest thing we've done, I value my time at the highest level because I can't get that back. I'm sure you do and everyone watching this does. So we try to streamline. So what we've done this last probably 2 years that I don't see many people doing is we streamline our content to where, let's say I have an interview with Elon Musk coming up, which is crazy.
Sick.
Next year. And let's say I interview like a Grant or an Eric Thomas or something. I'll interview him in person or on video, and then my team will take that video and they'll chop it up into Instagram snippets, the best possible content. They'll take a minute of it. And then they'll do swipe ups for stories, and this is all one video. And then they'll take it, and I'll have my copywriter write an article, and we have contracts with Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc., Forbes, all that stuff. So we take the article, and then we push it to them, and they push it out, and then we create Twitter snippets, and then we also create Facebook videos. We boost those, and we make it a YouTube video. And then we take the audio and make it a podcast. So there's one content that's 45 minutes of me and him talking, and it's like 10 different places. So now it spreads to 10 different places with me spending 45 minutes, so I don't duplicate the content. And that's something I think people should be doing more of, is streamlining their content and then figuring out where their target audience is by testing and experimenting. We've done a lot of that. Yeah. So I've just done I can't tell people, you should find your market by going here. I've only found my market and where my target audience is by actually doing a lot of testing. Yeah. And we know where we've made money, where we haven't. We know we keep track of everything. If they join my academy, if they listen to my podcast, if they bought my book, where they came from. And we just target more to those people. And then we figure out trends on the actual platform. So Instagram, we know certain things. You need a mix of swipe ups, you need a mix of documentation and a mix of value. And then figuring out what your 2 or 3 messages you want to share with the world. So for me, for my Instagram, it's like I want to make people laugh, entertain them. I also want to educate them and inspire them, but also I want to challenge them. So everyone knows that they watch my Instagram. I'm very consistent, but I challenge them, I inspire them. I don't do a lot of content just for me. It's like, this is inspiring. I know people on this have not been to Vegas, so I'm gonna do a lot of content in Vegas to make them feel like they're there so they can live through me. And it's not me being cocky, like, look where I am. I grew up in a small town, so it goes back to knowing myself. I grew up in a small town, and I didn't have any inspiration. So when I saw people traveling, I'm like, damn, that's actually possible. I wanna see that. Yeah. I wanna be that guy for kids that have no inspiration. So I know that's what Instagram's for. And I also know that if I'm consistent and every single couple days I promote the academy, not in a way where it's like, join this academy because it's gonna help you, but saying, if you're serious, if you like my content, if you wanna level up, check it out. So it's a mix of like inspiration and a mix of documenting my journey, but also tactical content as well. So just knowing yourself and knowing what your audience wants is a game changer. YouTube's different. Like, I'm just getting into YouTube. I know the ideal length for YouTube is like 10 minutes. A big YouTube hack is that no one really does. I talked to a couple big YouTubers that have millions of subscribers. You need to look at whatever your top video is that gets the most subscribers. You can look on your analytics and it'll tell you what video of all the videos you've done has given you the most subscribers when they watch the video. And that needs to be your main video on YouTube because your subscribers will triple that way. Yeah. And a lot of people don't do that. They do like YouTube trailers, which is crazy. And a lot of things, if you study right, the Instagram quotes now is dead because Facebook doesn't like that. So now all these people that were doing Instagram quotes where they have quote pictures, and a lot of people may still do it. It's not bad because you're inspiring people, but Instagram, if they know it's a quote picture, they don't want people seeing that because they feel like it's fluffy. So just studying the trends and the algorithms and knowing exactly how to get better is key. For me, I've been a component on, and this is a long-winded answer, but I want to give as much context. I'm a component on hiring the right people. So for me, I don't know a lot about like editing or podcasting, but I have my team that I challenge, that I feel like is the best at what they do that stuff for me, and I just pay them. So find the right people that know what they're doing. I don't know a lot about podcasting, a lot about iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, but I have the team that knows, and I hire them.
Yeah, but man, that was some packed value in there, as well as some tactical stuff. And influencers, I would love to hear from you, even in the comments, if you're gonna do this, but put out a question on Instagram or put out a question on
surveys,
Twitter, surveying your audience. Like just say, instead of just posting blindly, right? Actually say, hey, what would you wanna see more from me from? Or what kind of content do you wanna see? We've tried that by just asking more, surveying a lot more, not just every once in a while, but like constantly.
You can survey in 2 seconds, you could ask a survey. Do you like short form or long form on Instagram? You like videos or text?
You can do polls on Twitter, you can do polls on the community tab on YouTube if you have it. So definitely connect with your audience more, get those insights. But let's hit the lightning round right now. Peter, are you ready for the lightning round?
I'm always ready.
Here we go, 3, 2, and coffee or tea?
Coffee, unless I'm sick.
Book every influencer watching should read, of course, besides 6 Months to Six Figures. We'll link that up. But
Millionaire Fastlane.
Millionaire
MJ
Fastlane.
DeMarco, yeah.
Okay. Cat or dog?
Cat. I have a cat.
What's your cat's name?
9.
9. One of your favorite documentaries or movies?
Allen Iverson was a really good documentary. He was my favorite player growing up, and his grit and toughness and where he came from was very inspiring at a younger age for me. So Iverson.
Hidden talent that you have that maybe our community definitely wouldn't know, but maybe even your community wouldn't know that you have?
I can juggle.
Yeah?
Just 3, but that's a talent. I can play. I'm good at pool.
Okay.
Is that a talent?
Yeah, strong. No miss morning ritual or something you do every day.
Ask myself the 3 questions. What am I grateful for? What am I excited about? What am I committed to making happen today, no matter what? That's every 7 days a week.
I love it.
3 questions.
If you could give a TED Talk, what would the topic be about?
The new age game changer, how to be a world-class game changer, not just making billions, but being a world-class person and changing the game in your family first, your community, and your industry. I'm actually gonna do a TED Talk on that specific thing, so good.
Sick.
Thanks for asking. But yeah, just being a world-class person first before anything else.
How has failure or setbacks in your life set you up for future success, and do you have a favorite failure?
I think there's no success without failure. I think people that try not to fail are the ones that never succeed. So I got all of my hunger. I'll never have a motivation issue ever again because I failed so much. So failing, having no money, being broke, not having choices, feeling like I let my family down, all that builds up. So my favorite failure, I think, is thinking that I was gonna build a sales team because I succeeded myself, and then literally failing, having no one listen, going broke. I had like just me by myself, like in this 1-bedroom apartment. I could talk about failures. I also got at a bad investment, like in stocks back in the day, that I didn't really do the due diligence. I just trusted somebody without doing the facts, lost a lot of money there. So every failure I've had just makes me hungrier to take my life to the next level and never be in that same stage again. So yeah, failure is a huge part of success.
Favorite place in the whole wide world and why?
It was Dubai, but it's Tulum, which we were just talking about, just because the vibes are amazing, the culture's amazing, it's very hidden, not a lot of people know about it. Now they do. It's just an amazing vibe, and you go there, there's like signs on the road that say like, know yourself, be present, like forgive yourself, stay happy. It's like crazy. It's such a cool place to go to like really get some peace of mind and to think and get creative, so it's my favorite place.
What advice, people say if I knew now what I knew then, what advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
I think everything's gonna work out. Stop taking advice from people and take advice from the very few people that actually have the lifestyle that you want, and stop fearing what people think because they don't care anyways. I think being myself and just knowing myself and realizing everything will work out. Like if you're patient, everything will work out. Stop fearing what people think about you, be yourself, and if you're just a good person and you have good intentions, nothing else will matter. So that's probably the advice I'd say. It's just don't fear people, be yourself, and everything will happen how it's supposed to happen. Stop being so tough on yourself.
I love it. And then finally, do you have a quote or like a phrase that you think about often, or just one of your favorite quotes?
Yeah, I think my favorite quote is there's nothing you should put above being a world-class human being. Because I know people literally that have $500 million, but their kids don't know who they are. Or best-selling authors that have sold 5 million copies of their book, but they have forgot about their health and now they have huge health problems. They would trade all their money for health.
Yeah.
And I know people that are CEOs that are crushing it, that people know about, but they have all these failed relationships behind them. So it's like, I don't really want to respect these people that have 100 million views on YouTube, but they're out till 4 a.m. I want to follow people that are world-class first.
Yeah.
That's why that quote means a lot. It's like, there's nothing you should put up just being a good person. If the people were just good people first, I think the world would be a lot better. So just not idolizing people just because they have money or because they're famous, but actually studying to make sure they're a good person first, with good morals, good ethics, family, things like that.
Love that, love that. Lightning round, lightning round. Peter, where can people connect with you? You know, thanks so much for coming on. I just want to affirm, you know, I've been watching your stuff for a while now, from the mixtapes to the books, just your content. It's really inspiring and it's different, you know, and that's what's one of the things that's cool, because different is better than better. It stands out. But speak to just some of the things that you have coming up, including the mixtape that's out now.
That's my, just released. That's like my proudest. I took all the years of experience, all the surveying, and I love music, so I mixed motivational, my best content, my most tactical best content, a lot of the stories that I've learned in my life that have helped me shape who I am today, and a lot of lessons I've learned, and I put it behind motivational beats.
What they didn't account for is the internet giving us a platform and a voice, and putting the power in the people's hands, not the corporations. Nobody can stop those who speak up and those who express what's on their mind. They thought they could always control everything, and they thought they could always keep us in the dark about how to break outside the box, how to rise above the noise, and how to really live a world-class life.
That's on iTunes now. It's called the Know Yourself mixtape. It's part 2 actually. Know Yourself part 1, released last year. And they can find me I'm on Instagram. I'm on everywhere, Peter J. Voogd, and if they reach out and say they heard about me through you, I'll definitely give them some time, and if they need any help or any questions as well. And then if they want to check out the academy, it's gamechangersmovement.com. Tough to get into, but if they want to level up, they can check that out as well. So
Definitely.
Appreciate you, man, for making an impact.
So we'll link all that in the description below. Peter, can you just give a final word of encouragement to just the influencers watching? These are entrepreneurs of all different ages, but a lot of, you know, millennials watching as well, because it's discouraging. At the end of the day, when you start building something, eventually you're going to get punched in the face. Eventually you're going to have that time where maybe you're, you know, on the top, but you also just like, man, I want to quit. And so can you just share a final word for those going through it, wherever they're at?
One, tough times don't last, tough people do. And realizing that the tougher your struggles, the more exciting your successes will be. And I challenge them, like you said, your back's against the wall. I challenge you not to wait till your back's against the wall, not to wait till you're running out of money, not to wait till your kids don't know who you are, not to wait until you have health problems. I would tell you that the number one reason people don't succeed these days is they never tell themselves right now matters. Now matters more than ever, because if you maximize now and today, tomorrow takes care of itself. So just telling yourself, not in 2 hours, not tomorrow, like right now, after this exact video, what are you gonna do different? While most people escape reality, go watch TV or go talk a lot, what are you gonna do to actually give yourself the best possible advantage to succeed as an influencer? Because most people wanna succeed and they feel like they need to succeed, but they don't deserve it based on their actions. So I tell them now matters more than ever. Not tomorrow, not next week, don't live on someday aisle. Now matters. If you take care of now, most people spend the first half of their life saying they're too young, and the second half they're like, I'm too old. Don't be like most people.
Yeah.
I challenge you to level up and rise above the noise, because people need you.
So thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. And if you want to check out other videos in our entrepreneur interview series, click or tap the screen right there. For another video from Video Influencers, click or tap the screen right there. Until next time, Video Influencers is helping you build your influence, income, and impact with online video. Keep crushing it, and we will talk soon.